Alright, good morning. It is currently 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, First of all, happy Thanksgiving. This is indeed Thanksgiving Day, so basically just decided to get up early this morning. I ran a marathon today, kind of local where I'm at, so Turkey Trot, St. Petersburg in Florida. This is my number right here, 4885. So I finished in 30 minutes, which is pretty good. 5K, which is nice. So anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna play some football right afterwards and eat some turkey. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into this. Today we're gonna be covering a TvT analysis that I covered. So let me go ahead and mute that. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do a TvT analysis that I played with another Terran player, obviously. But so as you know, I'm Diamond League. So I haven't been doing all that great lately because I've been really busy lately. So, but I want to go ahead and give you guys an analysis on a game that I played. This isn't the best game. I mean, I wouldn't get a lot of my strategies and stuff off of this game, but this is kind of like one of those games where, you know, it's good to kind of, you know, see exactly what I'm doing, because it was actually an interesting game. So I'm going to slow it down here. But anyway, pretty standard right here. It's going to be on the map Xelnaga Caverns. We have the Terran opponent here. His name is going to be Zizzle. Again, this is just a Diamond League, you know, TvT Diamond League matchup here. So nothing too crazy. I mean, this is mainly a tutorial for like lower league players that whenever you are playing a TvT, if you play a TvT, it's what you can do against a Terran player that likes to go mech build. Basically means siege tanks, Hellions, and then he'll even throw in some Vikings in the mix, a couple Marines and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys an analysis on that. What I did was I actually opened up with the 111 build, which is the barracks, factory, starport, and then you get the add-on for your buildings. And then I transitioned myself into a heavy Marine Marauder build. I did this on 2 base. I'm going to explain why later, because I'll just explain why later. But anyway, we're going to go into this. Pretty standard for both players. I mean, you really can't tell what the Terran opponent is doing at this point until he lays down his factory, and then you're going to kind of see what's going on. You did. I'm going to go ahead and open up the names tab in production here. I'm bad at that, but anyway, we can kind of tell he's not going for any early aggression because we didn't see him get out the fast refinery for gas. And usually in a TvT, I mean, the common way to put on aggression onto your opponent is to get like fast gas, get Reapers, Banshees later on with Cloak and stuff like that. So we're not going to see any of that. Basically, when I scanned here, I just noticed he was kind of going for the 111 build over here. He did get the Tech Lab after that starport. So, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys exactly what this Terran player did against me. He went ahead. He got the early. He went ahead as soon as he laid the 111 buildings down. He went ahead and got the command center. If you notice, he went a little too heavy on his gas, if you ask me. Not to mention he was supply blocked a little bit at the time, so he was mainly focusing on just getting Marines out. He wanted to kind of go ahead and get the second expansion built. He went straight for Viking, like he went for the Marine tank Viking play in the beginning. But then you'll see himself transition into somewhat of a mech play. Whereas I, on the other hand, I've already got a Banshee en route to his base. I went for, like I said, the 111 build where you're getting Hellions, Marines, and then you use this Tech Lab to lift your building, or to use, you know, for your buildings like your factory if you want to get a tank out. I use it for Banshees. So I did kill a worker over here. I went ahead and I got at least a good amount of workers. I think I got about 5 or 6. So it made the Banshee effective. You know, I think it made it worth the money, obviously. I think he wasted about 250 minerals He didn't waste, but I killed that much worth of his workers. So I brought his worker rate down just a little bit with the units tab here. So I brought him down by 8. Either it was that or he wasn't building enough workers. So if I can tell, he's already got his workers rallied over here. So he's already got this second expansion secure. And he's mainly just playing passive. He's not doing anything aggressive, whereas I'm all over the map. I'm getting ready to do all kinds of stuff. I'm going to go... How's it? Sorry. Another good thing was I kind of took advantage of this moment. As you can tell, I had map control. I had my units on these towers here. And one thing you want to make sure you do, I mean, against any race when you play Terran, is when you have map control, you can obviously see what's going on. So I obviously see this army coming out, you know. I laid a scan down too. I don't recall showing you guys that, but I went ahead and I laid a scan down to see what was going on. The problem was with this Terran player, he moved out while I scanned. That gave me an advantage to move in over here with my Banshee and Viking. I brought the Viking along because I wasn't sure if he was going to pull everything back, if he wasn't just going to pull one Viking back to take out this Banshee. That would have been the most logic thing to do in this case, because you want to make sure if you have an army like this, you kind of want to have the map control. You've got siege tanks, you obviously want to kind of create somewhat of a contain over here at my base, because on Xelnaga Caverns it's obviously very, very easy to contain your opponent by all of these entrances. There's 4 entrances, and you can put on a really, really hard contain on your player. But then again, it's a little easy for your player to kind of sneak out, and if you contain them if you have like a weak line or something, and your contain's too weak, you're obviously at one point the Terran player is going to go just break through that line. So I guess I'm wrong. It's a little bit easier to break through a contain that a Terran player puts on you. But like I said, it's a little more wider. He can come from any different side. So, but anyway, I'm going to go back here. I went ahead and I killed off a few more workers. The one thing that I did was I got him to move his army back, which is good. That bought me at least a good minute and a half of time, because if he would have moved this army out, I wouldn't have been prepared. I was obviously getting the expansion down. I don't think I had siege tech yet. I was still researching it. I didn't even get stim. I was mainly just focusing on doing harass and aggression. When you go for a bio build, as you can tell, you kind of want to make sure you have complete dominance on the map, because at some point, if you don't do enough harassment, if you just let this Terran player sit back and macro up, getting siege tanks upgrades and Marines and Vikings, he's sooner or later going to overwhelm the map, and you're not going to be able to do anything. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're the aggressive one. You want to be a lot more aggressive than your opponent, depending on what build you're doing. If you're doing a siege tank Viking, you want to play smart. You want to make sure you contain the Terran player by obviously setting up over here and stuff. I prevented that, obviously, but I think he overreacted when he sent everything back. I think maybe 1 or 2 Vikings would have been better, and he could have sent his whole army down here to do somewhat of a contain, but he didn't do that. He kind of overreacted, so that was good for me. I was able to, totally buy myself more time. These guys came out. I think they safely moved out, so which was good. Go to the units tab here. Still ahead of him on the worker count, which is good. But then again, I caused him to stay back here. Now he's finally moving out again. I am getting stim and stuff, and I am well aware that this army's over here, so I'm getting ready to go ahead and see. Right now, I'm in a terrible, terrible position, because he's obviously got siege mode, he's got Marines, he's got all of this stuff, and I can't do anything. So the best thing to do is to get your Terran player to siege up a little bit before you can, get him to siege up a little earlier, as early as possible, because it's obviously going to buy you more time, because he's got his siege tanks up, get somewhat of a contain going before he can actually get over here. So what I did was I actually moved everything kind of out over here, but you're going to see one of the biggest mistakes that I did. I think this was more of a critical decision, and it was kind of one of those panic plays, because I already know he had siege mode and everything. I kind of realized that he was going to go ahead and set up over here. That's what you want to do with the Terran when you're playing mech Terran. You want to go ahead and creep up. You don't want to just go all in and then siege up, because at one point that your opponent's going to catch you doing that, and then he's just going to go all in. You're better off setting up in the back like this and kind of creeping up, saying this tank forward, and then that tank's over here. You bring this tank over here, stuff like that. Especially against a Zerg player, whenever he has banglings and mutas and stuff, you kind of can't unsiege all your tanks. This was a pretty terrible engagement, I have to admit. He lost no units. He almost lost one tank, but and no Marines and stuff. So that was a really, really bad engagement. But like I said, it was just something that I just wasn't. I kind of was way off on my stim timing. Obviously, my stim was nearly complete. It would have been a lot better to probably engage a little more up here rather than right in the center. Because I could probably just take out this tank and maybe kite him a little bit, maybe prevent him from going down more. So that was a big mistake by me. So I'm just gonna speed it up a little bit here. As you can tell, he's already setting up. He's getting that contain going. He's got a pretty good contain actually. He's got Viking superiority. So at this point, there's nothing I can do. He's already got a complete contain on me. I can't do anything. So the only thing I can do right now, since I'm mobile, and one thing you need to do as a mobile Terran is you always need to lay down that aggression. Always. You never want to sit back, because sooner or later, he's just going to keep sending more tanks, more siege tanks, and he's going to get closer and closer with that with his army. So what you want to do is you kind of have to realize his army or his base is completely vulnerable right now. So you got him basically, he's losing his whole base here. So that was probably a really big win for me. Although he had his army over here, and this isn't mainly really a mobile army. I mean, except for the Vikings and Marines, but you need to have your Vikings Marines near your siege tanks at all times. So I was a little supply blocked, unfortunately. So I think at this time I kind of took advantage and moved in and all of this stuff right here. I think I even put this off. So it was pretty good. I got him to move his army back, which is exactly what I wanted. And look at this. He kind of left a couple back here on siege tanks too, which was really bad. So I kind of took advantage of this point. Yeah, he actually backed off over here. He unsieged this. So I got him to move it. I got him all the way back. So I can at least say I was in a really good position this time, because I got him to pull back. I went ahead and went over here. I got him chasing after me, which is exactly what you want to do, is keep your opponent back in his base. Never let him go past over here or anything like that, or else you're going to be in trouble. We saw a game when, I think Day 9 covered it, when Select was playing against MVP on this map. They're both highly tier Terran players. They're both Grandmasters. MVP has somewhat of a superior Terran dominance, or I'll just say he's a better player than Select. I mean, I love both players. I appreciate them. Like, I mean, I get my strategies off of Select. But MVP lost massively to Select because of aggression like this. He basically kept MVP back at his base. He couldn't get him to move out. He had one nice engagement, but that was all he did. Select is all over the place with his army, which is exactly you need to do as a mobile Terran when you're building a mobile army. Basically, mobile with Marines, Marauders, having some medevacs in your composition. So he went ahead, back to the gamer, he went ahead and sieged up a little more. He had, I'm going to pause it here, he had a little bit of a tighter contain. I mean, well, I guess no, it wasn't, I guess he wouldn't really call it tight. It's more loose, but all of his units were in one spot. So obviously there's going to be a lot of pressure around these areas, obviously. But one thing that he did, he made a mistake, was he basically could have given me the option to go over here, and go back over here, and kill everything off. That's one thing I regret not doing. But then again, leaving my base completely, unprotected would probably not be a good thing, because he'll just come in and steamroll me. We're not even siege mode. So one thing that I had to do at this point was just wait it out a little bit. Go ahead and pause it or play it. I had a little bit better, I had better